The approach of the end of all things indicates the end of God's work and indicates the end of humanity's development. This means that humanity, as corrupted by Satan, has reached their end of development, and that the descendants of Adam and Eve have propagated to their respective ends. And it also means that it is impossible for such a humanity, having been corrupted by Satan, to continue to develop. The Adam and Eve in the beginning had not been corrupted, but the Adam and Eve that were driven from the Garden of Eden were corrupted by Satan. When God and man enter into rest together, Adam and Eve, who were driven from the Garden of Eden, and their descendants will finally come to a close. The humanity of the future will still consist of the descendants of Adam and Eve, but they will not be people who live under Satan's domain. Rather, they will be people who have been saved and purified. This will be a humanity that has been judged and chastised, and one that is holy. These people will not be similar to the human race as it originally was. One can almost say that they are an entirely different kind of person from the original Adam and Eve. These people will have been selected from among all of those who were corrupted by Satan, and they will be the people who have ultimately stood firm during God's judgment and chastisement. They will be the last remaining group of people among corrupt mankind. Only this group of people will be able to enter into the final rest together with God. Those who are able to stand firm during God's work of judgment and chastisement during the last days, that is, during the final work of cleansing, will be those who will enter into the final rest with God. Therefore, those who enter into rest will all have broken free of Satan's influence and been obtained by God only after having undergone his final cleansing work. These people who have been ultimately obtained by God will enter into the final rest. The essence of God's work of chastisement and judgment is to cleanse humanity, and it is for the day of final rest. Otherwise, the whole of humanity will not be able to follow their own kind or enter into rest. This work is humanity's only path to enter into rest. Only God's work of cleansing will cleanse humanity of their unrighteousness, and only his work of chastisement and judgment will bring to light those disobedient things among humanity, thereby separating those who can be saved from those who cannot, and those who will remain from those who will not. When his work ends, those people who remain will be cleansed and enjoy a more wonderful second human life upon the earth as they enter a higher realm of humanity. In other words, they will enter into humanity's day of rest and live together with God. After those who cannot remain have undergone chastisement and judgment, their original forms will be entirely revealed. After this, they will all be destroyed, and, like Satan, will no longer be allowed to survive upon the earth. The humanity of the future will no longer contain any of this type of people. These people are not fit to enter the land of the ultimate rest, nor are they fit to enter the day of rest that God and man will share, for they are the targets of punishment and are the wicked, and they are not righteous people. They had been redeemed once, and they had also been judged and chastised. They had also once rendered service to God. But when the final day comes, they will still be eliminated and destroyed because of their own wickedness and because of their own disobedience and irredeemability. They will no longer exist upon the world of the future, and they will no longer exist among the human race of the future. Any and all evildoers, and any and all who have not been saved will be destroyed when the holy among humanity enter into rest, regardless of whether they are the spirits of the dead or those who still live in the flesh. Regardless of what era to which these evil-doing spirits and evil-doing people, or the spirits of righteous people and those people who do righteousness belong, any evildoers will be destroyed, and any righteous people will survive. Whether a person or spirit receives salvation is not entirely decided based upon the work of the final age, but is rather determined based upon whether they have resisted or been disobedient to God. If people in the previous era did evil and could not be saved, they would undoubtedly be targets for punishment. If people in this era do evil and cannot be saved, they are also surely targets for punishment. People are separated on the basis of good and evil, not on the basis of the era. Once separated on the basis of good and evil, people are not immediately punished or rewarded. Rather, God will only carry out His work of punishing evil and rewarding good after carrying out His work of conquering in the last days. Actually, He has been using good and evil to separate humanity ever since He carried out His work among humanity. He will merely reward the righteous and punish the wicked upon completion of His work, rather than separating the wicked and the righteous upon completing His work in the end, and then immediately setting about His work of punishing evil and rewarding good. His ultimate work of punishing evil and rewarding good is entirely done in order to utterly purify all of humanity, so that He may bring an entirely holy humanity into eternal rest. This stage of His work is His most crucial work. It is the final stage of the whole of His management work. If God did not destroy the wicked, but rather let them remain, then the whole of humanity would still not be able to enter into rest, and God would not be able to bring all of humanity into a better realm. This kind of work would not be completely finished. When He finishes His work, the whole of humanity will be entirely holy. Only in this manner can God peacefully live in rest.